Now we're going to look at how to pay vendors in Microsoft Dynamics Business Central. First, we'll take a look at how to generate an aging report so we can see which invoices are outstanding and what their due dates are. And then we'll look at how to actually complete the payment process to print and post checks for those invoices. And there's two different methods we can use to make those payments, and we'll go through both of those methods in this example. And then we'll take a quick look at how to void checks as well if needed. One way to see what's outstanding is that if I go down to my home page under payments, there's a link to outstanding vendor invoices. If I click this list, I can easily see which vendors have outstanding invoices. I can see the amount, the remaining amount, and then the due date. You'll notice that the one I have highlighted has a due date of March 31st, so it is considered overdue. My work date, since I'm in a sample company, is April 6, 2020. If I go over to the vendors list, I can print an aging report from here. I could go under Reports, General, and then Aged Accounts Payable. I can also bookmark this if I want to have this report accessible from my homepage if I'm going to be accessing it on a regular basis. In the filter window, I'm going to age everything as of April 30th, 2020. And I'm going to use the due date actually instead of the document date. And I can also tell the system what aging periods I want to use. In this case, I'm going to stick with 30 days. I'll also make sure my print detail is selected so I can see which invoices are outstanding. And I'll include the use external document number option as well so I could see the invoice numbers. I do have the option to print to Excel if I wanted to do that as well. In this case, I'm just going to print to the screen. If I zoom in a little bit, I can see the same results that I saw when I looked at my list of outstanding invoices. So I have 6 outstanding invoices for 2 different test vendors. And you can see that since I aged as of April 30th, I have this invoice isn't due till May 6th, so it's in the current bucket. And then the 2 invoices above it are due before April 30th, so those are in the up to 30 days bucket. And then from my other test vendor, I have a similar scenario, except I have 2 invoices that are not due yet, and then I have 1 that is due before April 30th. So the first method that I'm going to use is I'm going to go directly to the payment journal window, and I'm going to ask Business Central to suggest for me the invoices that are due on or before April 30th. So this would be using a due date cutoff. So I'll go over to Cash Management, and then I'll go to Payment Journals, and I'm just going to use the default batch that's in here called Cash. I could create my own batch if I wanted a different one. And then I'm going to simply go to Prepare, Suggest Vendor Payments. And I'm going to put in this last payment date as of April 30th, 2020, so that Business Central will find any invoices that are due on or before this date. When you're in here, it's helpful to also mark a couple other options. I like to select the Summarize Per Vendor so that if there's multiple invoices that due for a certain vendor, they'll display on one check. I'll leave my posting date as today. And then my balance account type, I want this to actually be bank account. And then I'm going to choose my bank account as checking. And in this case, I'm going to print physical checks. So I have my bank payment type set as computer check. It's nice to select these options in here because then it'll default for you automatically. If you forget to select this, you will have to select this for every payment in your batch manually. Click OK. And now Business Central has found, for the 2 test vendors, that has found the outstanding invoices based on the date of April 30th. So I could see over here that it automatically provided those values for me. So my bank payment type is computer check. And then my balance account is right here is my checking bank account. And those were populated since I selected that in the previous window. If I wanted to see some details about what was selected, I could highlight that row and go to Process Apply Entries. And in this case, we can see that this particular vendor has $1,500 due before April 30th. So it's actually made up of two different invoices. So we can see that both invoices were selected, one for $1,000 and one for $500. And right now there's an internal payment number that BC has assigned to these two invoices. Once we print the checks, it's going to grab the next check number from the checkbook, and then that will actually be your payment number. But until you actually print the checks, it assigns an internal document number. I can click OK, and you can see that internal document number is right here. If I look at the second one and I go to Apply Entries, I'll see that in this case, there's just one invoice that's due for $650. I could also print a report if I wanted to see a preview report. If I go under Actions, Posting, Test Report, I could print that to the screen. And this will show me the payments, the $1,500 and the $650, and it gives me the total amount then that's going to be actually deducted from the checkbook. It does give me a warning, but that's fine. It's just letting me know that I haven't printed the check yet. So now I'm ready and I'm happy with this batch of checks. So I'll just go to Check and then Print Check. One thing I do want to mention is at this point, I could still make changes to this batch since I have not printed the check yet. So if I look over on the right, all the way over here, there's this check printed column, and that is not marked. So at this point, if I wanted to, I could still delete a line completely from here. So I'll go to Check, Print Check, and I'll want to just double check and make sure I have the correct bank account, which I do, and I can see that it grabbed the last check number, so I'd want to make sure that that's correct. If I've printed these before, I'll want to make sure I have this reprint checks option on so that they can print again. And everything else looks good, so I could click Print. I'll zoom in just a little bit. And we can see that the first check has the two invoices that we saw totaling $1,500. And then the second check just has the one invoice for $650. So now our button has been updated over here. So it does know that the check has been printed. So at this point, you have to post these checks, or if you did make a mistake or something didn't print properly, you could go to Check and you could void the check or void all checks. So those are our two options at this point. So I'm happy with my checks and I'm going to print them. I'm going to post them. So I'll just go to Post and then I'll post those checks. Those checks have now been posted. So now if I were to look at my vendor ledger, I could go to my vendor ledger entries. I could see the most recent ones that were posted here, and I can see my checks. And if I highlighted this one as an example and I went to Entry Applied Entries, I can see what invoices that check paid off. So I could see that was a check for $1,500 and it paid these two invoices. Now, if I go back to my home page and I look at my outstanding vendor invoices, you'll see that that has been reduced to 3. So now I can see that the other invoices have been paid and I have 3 that are left. And these were all invoices that were due after April 30th. So the other method to select your invoices for payments can actually be completed from this window. So in this case, I could actually go through here and I could just pick and choose which invoices just by selecting with my control, or I could use this button here and I can ask it to select additional entries. through select more, and I could select whatever I want, or I could just select everything by clicking the arrow at the very top. So if I wanted to just pay everything, I could do that and create a payment. Otherwise, another thing that I could do is I could use a filter. So if I wanted to click this filter button, now I could actually filter. So I see that I have 3 payments and I have different due dates in May. I could restrict this if I wanted to put in a due date cutoff. I could add a filter here, and I could just search for due date and select the due date field. And then I can say to only provide me with the invoices that are due say before A29 in this example. And now we see we just have the one for May 6th. I could also change this to say or equal to May 29 if I wanted to include the May 29th one. So this filter is really handy. You could filter by pretty much any field that you see listed here. So if you wanted to pay certain vendors, you could filter by those vendor IDs. You could also have a certain payment reference if you wanted to use that, or a priority. And there's all sorts of fields that you could filter by. So in this case, we're going to just select these 2 now that we have our filter. And now that I know these are the 2 invoices I want to pay, I can go to process and then create payment. And this is basically going to create the payments in the same window that we just looked at. Since I'm paying these in May, I'm actually going to change my posting date. I'm actually going to just move that to May. And then I'll just confirm that my bank account is correct, and I do want to pay by printing checks again, so I'll click OK. And you'll see that it automatically opened up the payment journal window, which we were just in previously. And it already has everything selected for us. So it has both invoices selected in this window, and it filled in our bank account. And of course, it defaulted the fact that we want to print computer checks. I can still go to process apply entries if I want to see the invoice number and just confirm which invoice it's paying. And then when I'm ready, I can either print my preview report, or I could just go straight to check, print checks. And I'll see that it updated my check number. My last check number was now 214. And then when I hit print, you'll also notice that in the background, it updated the document number field. So these checks have now been assigned to check 215 and 216. So you can see that that has been updated here. So it's no longer an internal number. And this is the number that will be tied to these payments. So now I can just go to post and post my checks. And now those checks have been posted. So now when I look at my home page, I'll see that I only have one outstanding vendor invoice. And then I can also see, if I look at my vendor card and I look at my test vendor, I can see some recent payments. So if I click this link in my payments column, I could see that these payments have been made, and I could see the check number and everything. If I've already printed and posted my check and I've realized that something happened or there was an error, I need to void that check for some reason, I'll just need to do a search and open up the check ledger entries window. When I go in here, I'll see all my checks that have been posted. So if I want to void a check, I can simply highlight it and go to process and then void check. And I want to unapply and void the check so that the invoice will then be considered open. I'll just answer yes. And now you'll notice that that status has been changed. If I widen this column a little bit, we can see that it's now financially voided. And I can also see that, of course, if I look in my GL register, I can see some of these recent transactions that I just completed. So here's my void. If I wanted to see the GL entry, I could go to Process, General Ledger, and I can see that in this case, it credited accounts payable and debited my cash account since it was a void. And then if I look at these previous entries, these are the checks that I just posted. So I could also go to Process, General Ledger, and I can see what vendors were used. And basically I could see it the way I saw it before I posted it. So that completes the process for printing and posting checks using both methods.